Biesinger. We are continuing our author read aloud of Xavie of Shamain. We are diving into part 12, covering chapter 17. If you're new here and want to stay updated on my writing journey, consider joining my newsletter, the Boreas brief, at the link in the description. Last time, Yellna and Xavie tumbled head over heel into something. This time, let's see where it leads and if there is hope for them. Here is part 12. Chapter 17. No matter what the rules and customs in a tribe are in regards of relationships, pairs or mates, these all become moot in one case, in this one exception. The moment the parties involved are a truly bonded pair, become bonded mates, then all customs become irrelevant. Neither rules nor suggestions would stand up against this bond, so might as well ignore them right away. Nothing, I repeat, nothing will be stronger than the bond. Just don't fight it, you will lose. Elder, an introduction for first-year students. End of May 22, 5th epoch. Yellna. By the end of May, we are seeing each other daily, at least for a short time. We have to, we need to. If we go without laying hands on the other for more than one day, it becomes agony. It's not only physical, no, we both need the reassurance that the other is alright. I don't know what this is. I'm at a total loss. Or not at all. It just might be that I'm not yet ready to say it out loud, to voice it. I'm certainly not willing to admit it to myself. I know where this will go. It is not in my power to decide. The moment I allow any of my thoughts, my feelings to become reality, it will be devastating for the both of us. So I ignore, indulge, and savor every moment. More than Xavie ever could know. End of June, it is clear to me this is much more than some entanglement in the sheets. Their sex is and always has been explosive for sure, insatiable, consuming, carnal, but there is so much more. We are acutely attuned to each other after this short period of time. Often, we don't need to talk to know what the other is thinking, feeling. It's frightening. It's fascinating. It's scary as shit. I have no idea how deep this will go, what this will become. I only know that I can't deny it. My only hope, our only hope, is to become bonded mates. Nothing else can save us. So far, I don't see the indicators I've learned announce the manifesting bond. From my education as elder, I know the bond can manifest with or without a relationship, or even if there is a deep-rooted hatred between the two. It can be that the bond falls into place immediately or years into a relationship. But we don't have that much time. With what Xavie and I have, we are considering being mates. Will there be a bond? I don't know. A bond is exceedingly rare. It might fall into place. It would not surprise me. I'm certain it has not yet, though. Xavie being 19 makes our relationship unusual. Some even frown a bit, but then most know Xavie has, in many ways, a maturity level not typical for his age. What surprised me most were Evanor and Yellna. Evanor was aggressive, claiming Xavie for her own and immediately going into an offensive. Viciously. So atypical for her. Even Xavie and Yellna were taken aback. Having learned the history, and Evanor technically being Xavie's sister, but not biologically, has me suspicious Evanor had somehow hoped to get together with Xavie. She has idolized him for all her life, so this would not be a far leap. I can't be certain, and I'm not going to address this suspicion with any of them. Yellna, though, was the real surprise. She simply sat and observed Xavie and me together, watched how Xavie behaved when I was around. She had two concerns: the age difference and my position as an elder. The former was addressed by pointing out the maturity Xavie has. And yes, there is this difference, technically. But it does not bother us. When I pointed out that Xavie is an old soul in a young body, Yellna, after some consideration, agreed. The latter, I countered that typically elders are far older than I. The average elder is not a good comparison for what should be expected of an elder. More appropriate would be a reference to women in my own age group. Having a steady relationship, having a mate, is perhaps not typical in Shamain, but is also not atypical. For many, it is a desired relationship status. Discussing with Xavie what he intends to do once he reaches the age to contribute is the real challenge. For one, it is close to home, so to speak. Then also, as an elder, it is my function to advise the youngsters at this age, show them possibilities, explore suitability with them, be a resource to them. I think I'd like it if I could teach younger ones, educate them and guide them. I like doing it for Evermore, and at the Aurora and Zoo and staff classes, he muses. I like looking out for them, protecting them, giving them the ability and knowledge and confidence to stand up for themselves. It is rewarding seeing them, helping them become the best version of themselves. Go figure. Of course he does. He always did. And look how Evermore turned out. I have seen you work with the younger ones when you help with training. I've seen how your face lights up when they figure something out under your tutelage. Have you thought of taking this a step further, or 2 or 3? He looks confused. What do you mean? You have a bright mind. You are far more settled and thoughtful and mature than most folks 10 years older than you are. Easily. Have you considered not only guiding and mentoring and educating youngsters, but doing this for a tribe? I let it hang there, let him figure it out. He wrinkles his forehead, whether trying to figure it out or in thought, I'm not entirely certain. Then his eyes fly wide, and his gaze snaps to mine. He's figured it out. Then his brows furrow in thought. Elder College, he says slowly, thoughtfully, like testing the words. I don't think I'm old enough for regular admission. How could I get accepted? How could they accept me? You forget that you're talking to someone who attended even before reaching age of maturity, I pout. I do not forget that I'm talking with you. He gives me that look that tells me he knows exactly who I am, what I am, and will explore every last bit of it later. It was different. For some reason, because something must have happened, you were selected to go. I would be asking to go. Fundamentally different starting position. Let's just say that I know a way to get you admitted. Would you consider it? I probe, pushing him. If I disregard whether I get admitted, he muses, thinking out loud, then yes, I think this would be a good route for me. Brings us back to the issue of being admitted, making this the problem to solve. I told you already, I have a way. I try again. How? He persists. I can't tell him, but also know he'll need an explanation he can accept, for now. Let's just say that I'm not at liberty to tell you everything involved in becoming an elder, in being an elder. Can you trust me that when I tell you I have a way to make it a good possibility, I have a way? I won't tell him this way has nothing to do with being an elder. That is the other thing I can't share. I won't share. I can tell he is not entirely satisfied with this explanation, but he can accept it. And so we decide Xavie will pursue becoming an elder, and I will see to him getting his fair opportunity. For the time being, he helps out in the training sessions of the youngsters, rather than Sue, Stuff and Karambits. He has always been very good at it, having started his own training far ahead of time and taking it far more seriously than anybody else I know. And I have experienced it. By mid-July, I start to train him as an elder. This is unauthorized, unofficial, and it can get me into deep trouble with the elders. But because of my other function, I'm not that concerned. I can rely on that, absolutely. I just can't voice it. We train every minute we have. I have ulterior motives to do this. Sure, for one, having Xavie prepared and giving him a head start for Elder College is there. But what I'm interested in is having Xavie able to mind talk. I have a need to feel this connection mind to mind. It is far more intimate than anything else. Hopefully, a bond will fall into place, declaring all other arguments moot. I also want to have serious conversations with him among peers. But my prime reason, need, is to entangle with Xavie mind to mind, to feel his presence much closer, much more intimately, on a much deeper fundamental level than just being able to physically touch him. I start with mind talk, with how groups behave, with how individuals behave, are motivated and governed. I start with the larger systems at play on Boreas, the ones not obviously visible, those above and beyond the tribe's level. It is what he'd learn in the beginning in Elder College anyhow, mostly. What I'm doing is giving him a head start. Regardless of whether Xavie will be accepted into the ranks of the elders, knowing what motivates and governs us humanoids as individuals is going to be of great value to him. Is it appropriate for me to share all this knowledge? Debatable. Probably not. If I'm completely honest with myself, the answer is no. Not in this compacted form, not in the complete form as taught at the Elder College, but I can't help myself. So I explained to Xavie that while we humanoids typically think of ourselves as being logical, sentient and intelligent beings, this is not the complete truth. Most of our perception of the world around us is based on assumptions, based on past experiences, tainted by them. We expect things to be in a certain way. We assume how things are rather than observing what they are. I go deeper on this point by clarifying that this has to do with the amount of data we are perceiving and would need to constantly process. By making these assumptions, we are jumping from the first indicators to a finished formulated internal model of our surroundings. We cut out the intense processing of information for a significant part all the time. It is necessary to do this, otherwise we'd be constantly overwhelmed, and being overwhelmed leads to slower reaction times. Our ancestors needed to react fast when faced with danger. We discuss that this principle of jumping to assumptions instead of fully processing everything is universally applicable. We are applying this for other forms of information as well. We use a reference value set to gauge the information against, to value it, to evaluate it. There are always multiple sets of these reference values at work. One for sure is what we learned as youngsters, what we got shaped by from our parents, elders, and closest circle. Another is our current tribe, our immediate community. Others can be professions, religion, ideological groups. And then there are our own life experiences, the problems we encounter and solve, the events we witness. This all shapes how we interpret the world. We work through examples and models to underscore that understanding the value sets somebody we're interacting with applies, allows us an insight into how this individual might react or why they react in a certain way. This also means that based on these value sets, people's reactions can be predicted with some degree of certainty. Having built this understanding, I take it further and demonstrate that this knowledge can be misused for manipulation by adding a trace of misinformation to an otherwise true and acceptable statement. Repeat this cycle a few times, and a statement that by itself would be dismissed appears now logically sound and will therefore be accepted. Xavie correctly understands that being aware of these tactics and how and why they work is fundamental in understanding how individuals behave. I continue the training by explaining how the perceived expectations by some or pressure by others in a group can shape, influence, or distort the behavior of every member of the group to a degree that individuals appear to have adopted a different persona. Understanding these dynamics informs how groups behave, which makes it possible to use a few members in a group to motivate the whole group into an atypical behavior. Another topic we cover, and that most Boreans do not concern themselves very much with, are the affairs and matters outside their tribe. It's simply not required for their daily routines or their lives. For a function like an elder, though, it's necessary to understand how Boreas is organized between all the tribes. For example, how exchange of non-standard products is done, how relative valuation is decided, how the elders are organized and facilitate the coordinated self-governance that is the underlying system on Boreas. After all, nothing can be really allowed to go out of balance too much. While the elders ensure balance within the tribes, the larger organization of the Order of the Elders ensures balance between the tribes as a larger system and as a global system. At this point, I deviate from what is taught at the Elder College, as I can't share the knowledge about the other organization with Xavie. Not until he is part of the elders. It is not my place to share it, and elders know because they need to know. Other Boreans do not need to know. Few know the basics or stories, and fewer still know details. The next part we talk about has Xavie really curious. He never considered it until now, as barely any Borean does, but after learning about it, it seems obvious. While the daily life on Boreas is void of technology, that does not mean Boreas is absolutely void of technology and the knowledge about and around technology. For one, there are the railways. These are high-speed autonomous underground pods connecting all major and many minor communities. They are used mainly to distribute and transport goods. This is how food from the arid areas gets everywhere fresh from the fields. Another example would be the planetary defense system. While Boreas is in a post-galactic empire era, this does not mean no other spacefaring civilization would accept Boreas' wish to not be bothered. So Boreas makes sure to be in a position of being able to clarify that point if necessary. Mind talking is not standard education for elders, though nearly all Elder College students choose it as an elective from the third year onwards. I'm hopeful this gives us a way to communicate over a bit of distance and without speaking out loud. Mind talking also conveys so much more in the message than just words. Selfishly, I'm yearning for the intimate joining with him mind to mind. It is so much more, so much deeper than everything physical could be. And then there is my hope this kind of connection triggers a mating bond. It would make everything so much simpler. Eliminate the threat, overrule any and all arguments once and for all. This mating bond could not be challenged. In this manner, a few months pass. Xavie gets the hang of mind talking relatively quickly. faster than average, if I remember right. I know I'm not suitable as a comparison, as I spontaneously manifested mind talking abilities, leading to me being sent to Elder College underage in the first place, and to being inducted into my second function. That now has become the threat to this relationship. We can't stay apart from each other very long. I'm not sure how to understand this, how to categorize this. We start to settle into being a whole, each of us being a part that the other complements, makes complete. While we do not hide our relationship, we are also not pushing it onto everybody. Come November, basically everybody knows and accepts. It just is. And for us, we still can't keep our hands off each other the moment we are together. At the same time, we can't stand to be apart. Our connection deepens every day. When we lose ourselves in the other, in each other, wrap ourselves into and around the other, physically and mentally, it affords us both a protected, a calm island. It centers us within our relationship. For Xavie's 20th birthday, the age signifying the start of him contributing to society, I gift him a delicately ornate staff carved with exceptional craftsmanship out of the exceedingly rare ironwood. I know how important self-defense disciplines are to him and how much he likes stepping in as a trainer's aide to teach the youngsters in Shamain. I also know how he dislikes knickknacks. Gifting him something for everyday use, being exceptionally functional and made with rare craftsmanship, seems a good way to go. As he holds the staff, takes in the detail, the balance of the staff, the lightness, he asks, "What kind of wood is this? It's lighter than usual, but it does not feel inferior. If at all, I'd say this feels far superior, and the craftsmanship is exquisite. It's ironwood, harvested in the swamps of old Minath. It's a very rare wood to find straight enough pieces for a staff. It's relatively light, but very rigid without being brittle or prone to breaking. It requires a lengthy treatment to release the full potential. There are not many craftsmen who know how to do it. It's an exceedingly rare material." Xavie carefully assembles the stuff, making sure to do it right. The normal Borean staffs are 2 parts assembled into a full-length staff. This one has 3 parts. For one, as the parts are shorter, sourcing suitable raw materials is a tad easier. But more than that, this 3-part design offers a number of advantages and has been developed and adopted by the guard. I myself have yet to learn all the details, but I absolutely trust that nothing is done without very good reason for the guard. After he has the stuff assembled, he moves through the basic forms. He is lost in the rhythm, the motion, the flow, the experience of his activity. His movements are controlled, the command of his body enviable. There is strength in every fiber, every muscle, his body toned for working with the staff, aurora, dansu, karambits, and the bow. A body honed into a weapon of its own. I know exactly how this body feels, know each ridge, each dip, each muscle like it's my own. The skin, a velvety soft layer, is barely able to hide the exceptional power. His technique, his mastery of the disciplines, is exceptional, not only for his age group, but at all. I briefly wonder how many there are on Boreas his mastery could be compared to. Not many. Then my gaze follows Xavie again, the rippling play of his toned muscles under his skin, a dance of its own. I so well know that he can use this body, this control, this strength of his to disarm not only in self-defense. I also know that his control never slips. He does not allow himself to lose this grip he has on his control. From our connection, I know there is something he keeps locked away deep inside himself. I've never pushed, as I'm myself not ready to be pushed for the secrets I'm keeping hidden away. Watching him, I marvel at the fluidity, the strength in his movements that appear effortless, light like a breeze, barely moving the leaves on the trees. I bite my lower lip. I get to have him, get to enjoy him, get to join with him, body to body and mind to mind. Thank you. Xavie tears me out of my daydreaming. This is a unique gift. Is it meant to be ornamental? It's 3 parts, not the usual 2, but it's too well made and does not feel only ornamental. I'm not going to ask how you made it possible. This could not have been easy. I will have to find out why 3 parts and not 2. Do you know? I'm going to save it for a time when I know more about this type of stuff, when my knowledge and skill is worthy of a stuff like this. I don't want to damage it in everyday training or by handling it incorrect. You are, out of your own volition, saving an item for a later time and not using it for its intended purpose. Now that is something remarkable. We then keep celebrating. Knowing Xavie's preference for a quiet celebration, I have a picnic prepared. We head to one of our preferred little hills an hour out of town. There we enjoy the time, our picnic and each other. By the time Eleanor's birthday comes around in April, Elder Salas is starting to catch more and more attention with his constant bickering about our relationship. Not that he can't do anything about it, or that it should be any of his concern. Nonetheless, his constant nagging is a negative background grumbling. As much as it's not relevant, it's equally annoying. This also means we need to be exceedingly careful about the elder training I'm doing with Xavie. If Salas caught knowledge of this, things would get interesting quickly. But by May, Elder Salas starts picking up on some of the training I'm giving Xavie. He has no proof, but uses this to become even more unpleasant. I'm aware of his motivations. He is an elder who passed through Shamain during his roaming elder years, being from a tribe in which females are regarded as not completely equal to males. He was fascinating with the female-to-male ratio in Shamain. He was smitten with the strong females. They tempted his arrogance and haughty character. He saw it as a challenge to put himself into a superior position and appreciated the selection of females he can decide on. Naturally, it did not work out to his liking during his roaming stay, so he decided to bring his order to Shamain and asked to be transferred here after completing his elder education. This is how we ended up with him. He has not managed to push his values on anybody in the tribe, and by now I'm aware he's intently focused on pushing me into a relationship with him to finally start this process. Perhaps he should self-reflect and recognize that his values are out of place here and he might be happier someplace else. He cannot accept a no, especially from me. Seeing me in a relationship, me considering Xavie my mate, is pushing him beyond his tolerance. So, Salas is becoming increasingly hostile. I sent word to consult with the group from my other function. One evening after sunset, there is a knock on my door. When I open it, a hooded figure in a grey cloak is standing on my threshold. Come on in. I pull her in and close the door quickly, after scanning the road up and down. She pulls off her hood. "Hello, Katina," I greet her and pull her into an embrace. We do not have much time, so hurriedly I tell her all the essential parts. My relationship with Xavie, that I started training him for the elder path, Salas' overbearing behavior. Katina looks at me intently. It feels like she is trying to look deep inside me, into my very being. Finally, she speaks. You got yourself seriously entangled in a mess. Where do you want to take this? I can deal with Salas. What I can't accept is that his ill-intentioned antics may have a lasting influence on Xavie's possibilities. I'd like for Xavie to have a fair shot at getting into Elder College. I know it's earlier than usual. I would like this relationship to last. Is this realistic? I don't know. I can't tell. Xavie does not know, and I want to shield him. Katina observes me in that way she has, always had. She knows me long and well. You do really care deeply. Then, after a moment of considering, reading me, she continues. And you went far beyond the norm training him. You crossed a line. Yes, I did, I admit quietly. It's not logical, does not make sense. But around Xavie, I can't help it, can't fully control it. Does he know about us? The sharpness in her tone makes my gaze snap up, fixating on her. No, I shielded that from him, although he suspects there is something I'm not telling him. Her eyebrows rise. Are you bonded? No. We consider us mates. And then I clarify, needing her to understand, wanting her to understand. Her of all people. It is far too deep, far too intense, far too driving from our course for a typical relationship. But no bond. Yet. At that last word, her eyes narrow at me. She considers, thinking, and coming to a decision. I'll take this back to him. I think we can shield Xavie from any consequences Salas might conjure. But I don't think we can interfere with the usual progression of things with Salas here. We are aware of his inappropriately placed values, but at this point there is nothing we would do. We don't get involved. The last statement emphasized by tapping her finger on an imaginary surface in front of her. You understand what I'm telling you? I think so. Yes, I agree. I don't like it, but it is the best I can hope for. Katina nods, pulls up her hood, and is on her way to the door. I hurry to let her out. In the blink of an eye, she's melted into the shadows. Nobody in Shamain is the wiser that she even was here. And that brings us to the end of this part. It sure sounds like Yellna is in over her head. Let me know what you suspect, why Katina is back, in the comments below. If you want to explore more of this world, don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter, the Boreas Brief, add the link in the description. It's where I share all my secret projects and early updates first. Next time, in part 13, we'll see what comes next for Yellna and Xavie. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, or click the playlist right here to catch up on any episodes you've missed. Peace.